What if I told you that the American family vacation, the cornerstone of middle-class life for generations, is quietly dying? The road trips, the theme parks, the week at the beach. For millions of families, these aren't just getting harder to afford. They're becoming impossible. While travel companies post record profits, ordinary Americans are being priced out of experiences their parents took for granted. Today, we're exposing the 10 brutal reasons why the middle-class vacation is over. And reason number 1 is the part no one wants to admit, but every family feels. Number 10. Vacation prices rose faster than wages. Picture this. Your parents took you to Disney World in 1995. Dad worked a solid middle-class job, mom stayed home or worked part-time, and somehow they saved up for a week-long trip without breaking the bank. Fast forward to today. You have the same type of job your dad had, adjusted for inflation. But that same Disney trip? It now costs 3 times as much, while your paycheck has barely budged. Here's the gut punch. Between 2000 and 2024, the cost of leisure travel in the United States jumped nearly 60%, while median household income crawled up just 20% after inflation. That gap isn't just a number on a chart. It's the reason families are canceling summer plans, skipping reunions, and telling their kids, maybe next year. It used to be simple. You saved a little each month, booked a modest hotel, packed the car, and hit the road. Vacations weren't extravagant, but they were possible. Now, even a basic trip requires months of financial gymnastics. Families report feeling priced out before they even start planning. The American vacation wasn't supposed to be a luxury reserved for the wealthy. It was a rite of passage, a reward for hard work, a chance to recharge. But when costs skyrocket while paychecks stagnate, that dream slips further out of reach. And if you think rising prices are bad, wait until you see what hotels started doing to squeeze even more out of every booking. Number 9. Hotels switched to dynamic pricing. Remember when you could check a hotel rate in February, think it over, and come back a week later to find the same price? Those days are over. Hotels now use the same ruthless pricing algorithms as airlines, adjusting rates in real time based on demand. And for families trying to book around school vacations, the results are devastating. Dynamic pricing sounds harmless until you experience it firsthand. You search for a beach hotel during spring break. The rate starts at $180 a night. Reasonable. You hesitate, check your budget, and return 2 days later. Suddenly, it's $320, same room, same dates. The only thing that changed was the algorithm detecting demand and jacking up the price. For middle-class families locked into school calendars, this system is a trap. You can't book during off-peak weeks. Your kids have fixed vacation windows. Christmas, spring break, summer. And hotels know it. So they surge rates exactly when families need to travel, pricing out the very people who used to fill their rooms year after year. Parents now face impossible choices. Pay double for the same experience their parents had, or skip the trip entirely. Many are choosing the latter. The spontaneity of travel is gone, replaced by a cold realization that booking a hotel feels more like gambling on a stock market than planning a vacation. But dynamic pricing is just the beginning. Once you actually book, the real financial ambush begins. Number 8. Hidden fees took over the industry. You find a hotel room listed at $120 a night. Not bad. You book 4 nights, expecting to pay around $480. Then checkout arrives, and the bill reads $680. What happened? Welcome to the hidden fee economy, where the price you see is never the price you pay. Resort fees are the biggest offender. These mandatory charges, slapped on at checkout, supposedly cover amenities like Wi-Fi, pool access, or gym use. But here's the scam. You can't opt out. Even if you never step foot in the pool or connect to Wi-Fi, you still pay. Some resorts now charge $45 per night in fees alone, turning that budget-friendly rate into a financial nightmare. Then come parking fees. Hotels that once included free parking now charge $30 to $50 a day just to leave your car in their lot. Add cleaning fees, service charges, and local tourism taxes. And families report that their final bill can be 40% higher than advertised. The frustration isn't just about money, it's about dishonesty. Families budget carefully, only to feel ambushed at the end. One parent commented, "I felt scammed. The whole trip left a bad taste because I spent the last day doing math, realizing we'd been nickel and dimed the entire time." When trust breaks down, so does the desire to travel. But if hotels are squeezing families on the ground, airlines are doing far worse in the sky. Number 7. Airfare shock became the new normal. There was a time when you could snag a round-trip domestic flight for $200, maybe $250 if you booked late. Families could fly to Florida, California, or anywhere in between without a second mortgage. Not anymore. In 2024, average domestic airfare hovers near $350 per ticket, with popular routes during holidays easily hitting $500 or more. What changed? Airlines figured out they don't need to compete on price anymore. Mergers reduced competition, routes were cut from smaller cities, and suddenly families have fewer options and higher costs. The result is a system designed to extract maximum profit from travelers who have no alternative. But the base fare is only the start. Want to choose your seat? That's $25 to $60 extra per person. Checking a bag? Another, $35 each way. Need to sit with your 6-year-old? Pay up or risk being separated mid-flight. By the time a family of 4 boards the plane, they've paid hundreds more than the advertised ticket price. Airlines call this ancillary revenue. Families call it extortion. And it's not just about the money. It's the indignity of being charged for things that used to be standard. The experience of flying has gone from exciting to exhausting. A gauntlet of fees and frustrations that leaves families asking if it's even worth it. And once you land, the punishment continues, because getting around your destination just became absurdly expensive. Number 6. Rental cars became outrageously expensive. Imagine landing at your destination, walking up to the rental counter, and being quoted $800 for a week-long economy car rental. Not an SUV. Not a luxury sedan, a basic, compact car. For families who remember renting vehicles for $30 a day, this feels like highway robbery. And yet, it's the reality of travel in 2024. The pandemic broke the rental car market. Companies sold off fleets to survive. And when demand roared back, inventory couldn't keep up. Prices exploded. What used to cost $210 for a week now runs $600 to $900. And that's before taxes, insurance, and airport fees that can add another 30% to the bill. Here's where it gets worse. Rental agencies now push expensive insurance packages and fuel options at checkout, pressuring customers with scare tactics about liability. Families who decline often face surprise charges later for minor scratches or dings they didn't cause. The entire process has become a minefield of upsells and hidden costs. For road trips and destination vacations, rental cars used to be the affordable solution. Now they're a budget killer. Families are choosing to skip car rentals entirely, limiting where they can go and what they can see. That spontaneity, the freedom to explore, has been stripped away by an industry more interested in profit margins than serving travelers. But if you think transportation is rough, wait until you see what happened to the places families actually want to visit. Number 5. Theme parks turned into luxury experiences. Once upon a time, a family could visit Disney World, Universal, or any major theme park for a few $100s. Sure, it wasn't cheap, but it was doable. Families saved up, splurged on tickets, and spent the day riding every attraction. In 2024, that version of theme parks is dead. Here's the new reality. A single-day ticket to Disney World now costs upward of $150 per person during peak times. For a family of 4, that's $600 just to walk through the gate. But the real kicker? Without paying extra for skip-the-line passes, you'll spend half your day waiting. Popular rides now have 2-hour waits, sometimes longer. So parks introduced premium options. Genie Plus at Disney costs an additional $25 to $35 per person per day. Universal's Express Pass runs $100 to $300 per person, depending on the season. Suddenly, a one-day trip for a family of 4 can hit $1,200 before food, parking, or souvenirs. Parents report feeling trapped. Either pay the premium and actually enjoy the rides, or spend your expensive day standing in endless queues while your kids melt down. One mother commented, "We saved for 2 years to take our kids to Disney. By the end, I felt like we'd been scammed. Everything cost extra. Theme parks used to be the ultimate middle-class vacation. Now they're playgrounds for the wealthy." But even if you skip the big attractions, eating on vacation has become its own financial disaster. Number 4. Vacation towns lost affordable food options. Picture this. You arrive at a beach town for a week-long family trip. You're not expecting Michelin star dining, just simple, affordable meals, breakfast, lunch, dinner, nothing fancy. But the first morning, you walk into a diner and see the prices. $18 for eggs and toast, $12 for a cup of coffee and a muffin, $25 for a kid's meal. Welcome to Tourist Town, dining in 2024, where eating out has become one of the biggest expenses of any vacation. Local diners and mom-and-pop restaurants have either shut down or been replaced by upscale gastropubs charging double. Even fast food near tourist areas inflates prices, knowing visitors have no choice but to pay. Families now budget $150 to $200 per day just for food. Over a week, that's $1,000 or more, often matching the cost of the hotel itself, and it's not like the quality improved. You're paying premium prices for mediocre meals because you're a captive audience. Some families try to fight back by booking accommodations with kitchens and cooking their meals. But grocery stores in vacation towns know the game too. A gallon of milk costs $7. A dozen eggs runs $9. Everything is marked up. The joy of vacation dining, grabbing ice cream on the boardwalk, trying local seafood, sharing pancakes as a family, has been replaced by sticker shock and frustration. And the problem runs deeper than just food. Entire vacation towns have transformed into something unrecognizable. Number 3. Housing costs turned tourist towns into rich-only zones. What happens when vacation towns become so expensive that locals can't afford to live there anymore? You get entire regions that exist solely for wealthy weekenders, with no soul, no community, and nothing left for middle-class families. Take Cape Cod, Lake Tahoe, the Outer Banks. These places used to have a mix of tourists and year-round residents. Local shops, family-owned restaurants, and modest rental cottages lined the streets. But over the last decade, housing costs skyrocketed. Investors scooped up properties and converted them into short-term vacation rentals. Locals were priced out. Small businesses closed. Now, these towns feel hollow. Walk down Main Street, and you'll see luxury boutiques selling $400 candles, upscale wine bars with $18 glasses of rosé, and chain stores catering to high-income tourists. The quirky, authentic character that made these places special is gone. For middle-class families, the impact is devastating. Affordable lodging disappeared. The cute bed and breakfast that charged $90 a night? Now it's $350. The family-run motel? Demolished for luxury condos. Even campgrounds, once the ultimate budget option, now require reservations months in advance and charge premium rates. The people who built these towns, who served tourists, who made them vibrant, can no longer afford to live there. And when locals leave, the magic dies. Vacation towns become sterile, overpriced, and soulless. But even if you avoid expensive destinations, one classic American tradition has been gutted, too. Number 2, the end of cheap road trips. The Great American Road Trip. Load up the car, hit the open highway, stop wherever looks interesting, and make memories without breaking the bank. For generations, this was the ultimate affordable vacation. Not anymore. Let's start with gas. Even when prices dip from their peaks, filling a tank still costs $60 to $80 for most vehicles. A 1,000-mile round trip means multiple fill-ups, easily running 200 to 300 in fuel alone. Add toll roads, which now cost $15 to $40 for a single highway stretch, and the expenses pile up fast. Then come the overnight stops. Roadside motels that used to charge $50 a night now want $120 or more. Even budget chains like Motel 6 regularly exceed $100 during summer months. If you're traveling with kids and need 2 nights on the road, that's another $300 to $400 before you even reach your destination. Food on the road adds another layer. Highway rest stops and gas stations charge absurd markups. A family meal at a chain restaurant easily hits $70 to $90. Over the course of a trip, these stops become a major expense. The freedom and spontaneity of the road trip has been replaced by careful budgeting and cost anxiety. Families who used to explore the country now stay home because even the cheap vacation option isn't cheap anymore. And that brings us to the real reason the American vacation is dying. Number 1. The middle class doesn't have disposable income anymore. Here's the uncomfortable truth that explains everything we've covered. It's not just that vacations got more expensive. It's that American families have less money left over after paying for the basics. And when there's no cushion, no extra, no disposable income, travel becomes impossible. Consider this: housing costs now consume 35% or more of the average household budget. Groceries are up nearly 25% since 2020. Childcare, healthcare, insurance, student loans, all of it has climbed faster than wages. By the time families cover rent, food, and bills, there's nothing left to save for a vacation. This is the core crisis. The middle class is being hollowed out. Jobs that once provided stability and a little extra for leisure now barely keep families afloat. Parents work full-time, sometimes multiple jobs, and still can't afford the life their own parents had on a single income. Vacations used to be a given. You worked hard all year, saved a little, and took the family somewhere special. It wasn't extravagant, but it was possible. Now, families report that even thinking about a vacation feels like a fantasy. One parent said, "We haven't taken a real trip in 5 years. Every time we try to save, something comes up. A car repair, a medical bill, school expenses. The vacation fund never grows." The American vacation isn't dying because people don't want to travel. It's dying because they can't afford to anymore.